Welcome to Everyday Photography. My name's Chris, and today we're going to be doing a lens review of a Nikon lens. And just like everybody else who first started out with photography, when I first started shooting, I really didn't know anything about lenses or different equipment you could use. I really just knew that you grabbed a camera and you would take pictures. So probably like a lot of you, I started out with a point and shoot camera, and I really liked photography, but my pictures were pretty junk. They weren't real good. So what I did is, my dad was real big in photography, and he got me using a manual camera, so a film camera to start. And I started out using a Canon F1, so it was an old film camera, and it was fun to use, and I really liked it. But it was really hard because you really didn't know what your shots were going to look like. So you had to take the pictures, then go back and look at them after you develop them, and you didn't really know, you probably didn't remember what you shot or the settings you used, and so it was really tough. Cameras obviously have come a long way, so now with all the digital cameras and all the upgrades they've had over the years, not only can you look at the pictures right away, but it keeps all the information, all the EXIF data in there, which is all the data about how you shot the picture. So what aperture you used, what shutter speed you used. So that's really nice, especially when you're reviewing it, because if a picture comes out really, really good and you're like, oh, I wonder what I used for it, now you can actually look. And so then maybe next time you go and shoot a similar subject, you'll know those are the settings that you want to use. So when I started using a digital camera, my first one that I had was the Nikon D200. That was the first professional camera that I had, and I used it a lot. So I went and took pictures everywhere. I did a lot of wildlife photography. I did a couple weddings. I went and did waterfalls and landscapes and all kinds of things like that. And I used just a handful of lenses, and one of the first lenses I bought, other than your typical kit lens, I had a 18 to 55 millimeter lens to start, which is probably what a lot of people have to begin with. My next lens I bought was the Nikon 50mm F1.8. So the reason that I bought this lens is my dad, when he taught me about all the different things with photography, he taught me that aperture really is going to be able to control your depth of field. So that's going to give you that blurred out look in the background, and it's going to be able to give you more light. So you can shoot in low light scenarios, and you can also blur out your background. So I thought they were really artistic and cool looking shots. So I went out and I bought one of these lenses. Now, I think that back then I paid like $100 for it, but now you can get them for like $60, $70 used on eBay. And what you'll see is that it's the Nikon 50mm f1.8. So the cool thing about this lens is that it's inexpensive and it's really, really sharp. So the good thing is that you're going to be able to put this on your camera and get great shots right away. And 50 millimeters, if you're on a full format camera, is going to be what your typical eyes would see. That's your normal field of view. If you're on a crop camera like I have, which is a DX version, it's going to be a 1.5 times. So this is going to look more like a 75 millimeter. So if you wanted your normal field of view, you need something closer to 35 millimeter, which comes out at about 52 millimeter when you do the conversion, the 1.5 times. So overall, this is a really, really nice lens. So one thing that you'll notice is that this is an older AF lens. So Nikon has a lot of different versions of these lenses. You can buy anything from the old pre-AI lenses, which were out a long time ago. You can buy the AI lens, AIS, and they have different versions along the way. The old AI and AIS lenses, those are fully manual focus lenses, and you can get them pretty cheap. You can get them for $50 on eBay, and they'll have manual focus only, and they call it a pancake lens because it's like this big, so like it's about half the size of one of these lenses. But the AI and AIS lenses still work on the newer cameras, so they work on D200, D300, all the way up. So if you want to be able to buy one of those lenses, you definitely can. And I have a lot of older lenses that are manual focus lenses, and I highly suggest getting them because you can pick them up for cheap. You can play around with them, see if you like those kind of lenses before you go and spend $1,000 on a new lens. And a lot of times old lenses can hold the test of time because a lot of the older lenses were built in Japan, so they had a sturdier metal frame to them, and the glass is just as good back then as it is now. And sometimes you'll find that they'll talk about all the new elements that are in a new lens, but not always is more elements good. It's more things that the light in the picture has to pass through, and so you can get some more distortion with it. So sometimes having a 6 or 7 element lens can give you a little bit clearer of a picture, less distortion. So as I was saying, so this lens as a whole, if you look at it, you'll see it's just a pretty small lens. It's heavy for the size it is, but it's overall, it's a compact lens, so you can throw this in any camera bag. It's really good if you want to be able to do portraits, or if you want to do any still life, or anything that is not too far away, so you don't need a zoom lens. Like if you were pretty close to an object, 10-15 feet away, this is a really good lens. I just like bringing this lens anywhere because it's got really good low light because of that f1.8. So if you basically open the aperture all the way up, it's going to allow a lot of light in, and it blurs the background out. So not a lot of compression with this, so it's not going to bring that background closer to your subject. It'll give you a little bit, but not a lot. So this is a really good lens. I'm going to put some pictures that I've taken with this lens at the end of this video, so if you have any questions on it, definitely let me know. Hopefully you like the pictures that I took with it, and hopefully you can go out and get one of these if you don't already have it.